All right, everyone. We are live for another great episode of Monday Night Coaching, and we have Shawn Michaels joining us, and we're going to be discussing knockout excuses, 3 rounds to unbreakable accountability. And Shawn, I don't know about you, but I am ready. I've been gearing up. I think this is probably the most fun I've been having with promo. So thank you for the boxing reference.
Well, and like when we talked about me doing a Monday night coaching, we had a discussion and I started formulating ideas and I came up with this accountability and how we could make it easier and make it fun. I didn't want it to be a boring teaching. And so I had as much fun preparing and getting ready for this event, getting my own promos and building the slides. It's been, energizing.
I love it. Well, as we wait on more people to join us, I always like to give it just a little bit more time. I just want to give a few shout outs to those that are tuning in live. So if you are listening, make sure to give a comment, say hi, let us know where you're watching from. We want to know if you're joining us so we can say hi. I do see Jay. Jay, thank you so much for joining us. I was really excited because I did see Jay in the last event I was in earlier with Melanie. And just congratulations, Jay. You're hosting your first live stream, I believe. So kudos to you. I think that is Wednesday, if I'm correct. Jay, put that information in the chat so we can support you too. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for tuning in live. All right, everyone, just a reminder, because of the dynamic of Restream to LinkedIn, we do not know if you're tuning in live. So in order for us to know that you're here with us, make sure you comment so we can say hello. Meryl, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you again. And I'm ready to ring the bell. I'm ready to get started. So, Shawn, I'm going to hand the mic over to you to allow you to introduce yourself. Let everyone know more about you and how they can find you, all that good stuff.
All right. So I'm Shawn Michael, and I go by the title Inner Potential Activator because I believe there is massive potential in every human being. It's just usually covered with a lot of junk. So that's my goal, is to help people clear the junk and shine bright like the diamond they are, to reach the potential, reach their next level, and battle the monsters like the imposter monster, the I'm not enough, anything like that, to be their best. And you can find me on LinkedIn. That's my main online home. Molly's got the link here. And coming up later this week, we have the new accountability space where you'll be able to find me on once a month to talk more about accountability. I'm also on Insta, but it's hard to manage everything. Insta, Facebook. I do most of my focus on LinkedIn. I'm excited to be here, and I thank you, Amalia, for this opportunity to share with everyone.
I love it. Well, thank you. You know what? This is exciting. And I don't think people realize how much value you have on this topic. And I think today they will really know the truth. Before we dive in and ring that bell, I just want to give a few more shout outs to a few members I see that are tuning in live. I call them members because I do have I like to say my Monday night coaching tribe. So, Meryl, you forever be a member of my community. So, thank you for joining us and tuning in. I also see we have Felipe in the audience. Thank you so much for tuning in live. And then Corrine Keith is with us. Thank you so much for tuning in, Corrine. I did see your request too. So you guys stay tuned because she'll be joining me as well on the Monday night coaching stage. All right. Well, everyone keep in mind, even though we're going to be starting our event, Feel free to let us know in the comments that you are tuning in live so we can welcome you and give you a shout out. All right.
Yes, and stay active because I've designed this. It thrives on the engagement of those watching. So it's meant to work with your comments. So bring them.
All right. Well, let me get my my voice ready. Are you ready to I'm just kidding. Are you ready, Shawn?
I am ready.
All right. Well, it is all yours.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming out and joining us live. I'm excited to share this with you. I had a lot of growth and learning and getting ready. I just got charged up. Earlier today, I had my headphones on, playing some music, and I was dancing in front of my house. I didn't care who was watching. My wife actually came out and tapped me, and she's like, "Where's the dog? The dog's crying? Like, go find the dog." Anyway, so tonight we're going to step into the ring with the opponent that's been dodging punches and throwing shade your way for years. Who is that? It's your excuses. By the end of these 3 rounds, you won't just have discipline, you'll actually make it your unfair advantage. If you're ready to make your excuses tap out, give me a pair of those boxing gloves in the chat and let's get.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, here's what's going down over this next 40, 60 minutes, whatever. We're going to go 3 rounds together. Each one builds momentum. The first one, you'll learn to own your brain. The second round, we strip the friction. And the third round, we learn to create legacy level habits. And I promise this isn't theory, it's tactical, science backed, and live tested. So if you're ready to show up for your future self, let's go. I lost my. Oh, there we go. All right, round 1. Let's start with the familiar. Give me the icon you see on the slide. Drop that in the chat. If you've ever used one of these excuses, like I'm not a morning person, I'm too busy, I'm got no motivation, or any other excuse. We've all got them. But tonight, it's time to call it out. I want to see these. Type your favorite excuse. I'm going to have Amalia share the best ones right now. Let's expose the lies.
While I'm waiting on the excuses to come in, I think my favorite one, I shouldn't say my favorite one. The one I use the most is I'm too busy. That mental space is like, oh, I'm too busy. I just can't do that. Oh my God. I don't know how I'm gonna get this done. I'm just too busy. So I'm really curious to hearing how, and it could be the truth though. It could be a mismanagement of time, but I think the no motivation comes from the burnout of being too busy. But I would love to hear you guys' thoughts, even if it's not your own. What is an
Yeah,
excuse you've heard or that's common? Put them in a chat. I love to hear it.
too busy is a very common one. I think probably all of us have used it at one time or another. I've learned in my journey that we're never too busy. It's that it's not a big enough priority. It's not at the top of our priority list.
What about the excuse? Like, you know how people push things back to when they get better? oh, maybe when I have a little more experience, or you know what, let me get my feet wet first, and then maybe I'll go ahead and try it. How can we properly put that excuse? I've done that actually. I literally prolonged starting my business 3 years with an excuse of, you know what, I'm a wait until this is in order. I'm gonna wait until this. I'm gonna wait until that. And it was just like you said, Sean, a bunch of excuses. And then finally it's
Yeah.
like, okay, let me start.
Well, I was just looking at the post-it notes on the slide. There's the common ones: not enough time, I'm too busy, too tired. Later's on there at least 3 times. And of course, ChatGPT created that for me. But it's interesting that later was the most commonly listed post-it note. I myself did it. I actually started my coaching journey, I think it's out like 8 years now ago. I started, like, I had moved out of the country. I'd been living out of the country for a little over a year. Savings was nearly gone. And I looked at my wife and I said, I need to find a way to earn an income because our money's going to run out. We can't keep living here and not work. So I got involved with one of those network marketing companies with their big promises, and sounded good. And I started doing that. And then I took a coaching course specifically related to neuro-linguistic programming. And I was like, wow, this stuff is magic. And I realized after, this was 8 years ago, so I was like 48. For the first time in my life, I'd actually found something that like vibed with me. Like, it's like, this aligns with my core, my values. Wow. Like, I'd done a lot of different jobs. So I started doing it, and I was earning money consulting with business owners online, helping them connect their email systems, or fix a website that they were trying to change something and they got in the code and blanked out the whole website, while I was learning my coaching training and trying to build that and getting my website and all that good stuff. And then one day my last client quit on me, and we found out my wife was 9 weeks pregnant. And that voice came in my head, nobody's listening to you anyway. And I put it aside, stopped my training, put it aside, said, okay, I got to go find something else that I can earn money now. No, I need that, real job, we've all been told, right? So I started tutoring English, but at the end of 2022, my son was getting more independent. I said, no, I need to go back to this. So I'm thankful that I just backburnered it. I didn't kill the dream permanently. So that's why I'm out here today. And my wife, I was sharing the other day, and she's like, I won't let you give up. I go, oh, you don't have to worry about that, because I'm never giving up. I'm going to do this. I will pivot. I will do whatever. I'm not giving up ever again. I will not let the excuses get me again. Well, let's move on. I don't see any excuses, but let's see.
Well, real quick though, because I really love what, can you hear me, Sean? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. No, no, no. I was gonna say I love that, and I really love what Jay had mentioned. I shared it on the screen, but I'll do it one more time. I love the fact, because this is so true for a lot of us. And he put, you are so right, Sean. When people start something, they find an excuse not to finish it. And that is so common. And that is so true, because we will have that burst of like innovation. And then once we realize how much work it might actually take, we convince ourselves with a boatload of excuses to why we can't finish it or reach it, or we kind of be our own worst enemy.
Right.
But I'm gonna let you go ahead and
Right.
finish.
Or we jump over
I
to
don't
the
want the bell to
next,
ring.
or we jump over to the next shiny object, right? That didn't work. I'm going to try this. All right. So here's the reality. Here's what your brain doesn't want you to know. Your amygdala, it looks at accountability as pain. And that part of your brain is wired to protect you from discomfort, even if the comfort you're in is failure. But we can actually flip that. The Navy SEALs, now, I think maybe some people have heard of the SEALs, right? They train to prep gear the night before. And that one behavior, something simple, just get your gear ready the night before, boosts the completion rate of Hell Week, the hardest trial of a human being that I know of, by 3 times. And here's the wild part. This blew me away. When your mind says, I'm done, your body's only actually depleted by 40%. You still have 60% left in the tank. So I'd love to have somebody echo this in the chat. Everybody echo this in the chat. Say it with me. My brain has been gaslighting me.
My brain has been gaslighting me.
Yes.
I would love to learn more about that, though.
So, as I said, the lower level of our brain, what we call the reptile brain, it's the survival brain. And accountability, and like you said, it's too hard. It shuts us down. It pulls us back into that comfort zone. But as I said, the SEALs, I've got more. Let's see. So we call it the 2-second rule. Because if you can make the decision take less than 2 seconds, you're more likely to do it. It comes to my law of frictionless action. If you reduce the friction, you do it. Discipline becomes physics and not just philosophy.
I love that. So you almost got to do it before you talk yourself out of it.
Right.
Pretty
Well,
much.
do it. And like I said, set it up. Like, set yourself up so that it's easier to do. Right? Put your workout gear at the foot of your bed. So like you would trip over it if you don't pick it up and put it on. Right? You make it so simple to do the thing you want to do that your body, your brain doesn't go, oh, no, we're not going to do that. That's too hard. It's too uncomfortable. So we're taking...
I actually like that advice. I'm going to do that, Shawn. I'm going to put my workout gear so where I have to trip over it. So I have no choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose these 40 pounds, everyone. Thank you, Shawn.
Yeah, that's the 2-second rule. Like, and remember, when you think you're done, you're not really done. Accountability and discipline is not hard. Our brain's just playing a trick on us because it's afraid of it. It doesn't like it. It's pain. It's discomfort. All right. So
Shawn,
yes.
Shawn, and my apologies. I don't want to cut you off, but do you mind if I ask a question to our listeners?
Go for it.
Just to go back to your last slide regarding like our brain gaslighting us, I would love to hear from those that are listening. Just one thing that you feel that your brain has told you that you know it's not true, that you feel like it was gaslighting you. I'm just curious.
Did you look at the
Do
slides?
you have anything in particular, Shawn?
Did you look at the slides ahead? Because it's like you looked ahead a page.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just let you do your thing.
Because this is the drill.
We're so in sync.
So
I'm speeding up his presentation. My apologies, Shawn. My apologies.
yes. So comment. You can comment like what's the thing you wanted to do, and your tiny win. Like, I put my workout gear at the foot of the bed, or I made the option of not doing it harder than it was to do it. Any kind of tiny win, any 2-second rule. How did you set yourself up to do the thing that you wanted to do, that you felt you needed to do. And the other activity is, if you see somebody's tiny win, Corinna's exactly right, preparation the night before, make it easy. I'd love to hear your tiny wins and hype each other up. Ooh, can't build a profitable. So Annie gave us one of his challenges or conditions.
And I can definitely say, any your brain is gaslighting you because you're amazing and you can absolutely do it. I'm gonna be that voice of inspiration. So when that brain start gaslighting you, remember Amalia said, "No, that's a lie." We have a few. I love this
Corinne
conversation, Sean.
Corinne is exactly right. This isn't about major wins. We could think of it like this. You want to write a book? Day one, I opened my laptop. That's a win. Day two, I typed one line. If you've ever read Atomic Habits, that's his writing method. He sits down and writes a few lines every day. That's his discipline, is to just write a few. He's like, eventually he gets a book. But those tiny wins, right? We've all heard of dopamine, right? That's the feel good hormone, right? It's why we love to go on social media and see those likes and those comments, because boom, we get that hit of dopamine. But here we're actually hacking it. We're taking our challenge, the thing we're working on, celebrate the tiny win, dopamine. Oh, the brain goes, let's do that again. But another one. Okay, let's do it again. And the more we do it, just like the same thing, the way we get addicted to social media or anything else, we can get addicted to the wins. But we got to celebrate them. This is the hack. Love to see a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are ready to break the physics of friction. Love to see him. Love to see him. Are you ready, Amalia, for physics of friction?
I am ready. I am absolutely ready. And
All
my
right,
apologies for the last slide. Did you need to go back to that slide we skipped with me jumping ahead?
Well, this was the slide. This was where we jumped, is like celebrating the tiny wins. Talk about how your brain's been gaslighting, which triggered it. We did start to get some responses. So thank you for those. Thank you for kicking us off on that, Annie. It's kind of like the school dance. Nobody wanted to be the first one out on the dance floor, right? All right. Let's see. Round 2. So round 2 is the law of friction, right? We talked about the tiny wins. It could be something ridiculously small, like I opened the dock. I sat down at my desk. Would love, thank you, Kenneth, for all those fires. I think you covered everybody. I'd love to see, I don't know if I can see it, but if you comment on other people's gaslighting or their tiny wins and hype them up, or like the gaslighting, what's a 2-second win? How could you, give them a suggestion like I did with Amalia, which wasn't intentional. But let's talk failure. Tell me about the most creative way you've failed to stick to a habit. Maybe you bought a $200 planner and used it once. You signed up for that course, you never logged in. You bought the annual gym membership and went twice. I'd love to see if anybody's the dancing queen. I thought she was the audio queen.
I like the hype up. I'm getting new talents here, Shawn. Jeez.
No.
You
It's
said
good.
hype us up, okay?
Hype us up. Yes.
Now he's giving me motivation to try something new, right? Because funny thing is, I just said earlier, I'm looking to lose a little weight. So now that he said I'm the dancing queen, I'm going to find me a dance workout class. See that
Right.
motivation? Thank you, Jay. You didn't even know what you were doing there. No, go
Oh,
ahead,
okay.
Shawn.
All right. Anybody got some wins? I can't see any's post. If you can think of some wins to help other people with their habits that didn't work out the way they intended, hype each other up, share. I'm going to go back through all of these and yeah, Annie. We always say knowledge is power. My mentor says knowledge is potential power. If we don't take the action, it's like a battery in the closet. Doesn't do any good. All right. So, failure. So, we can laugh about this now because this is light. I want this to be light. I don't want to shame anybody. The science of friction, as I was saying before, discipline dies when your environment works against you. There's a company called Patagonia. They implemented a policy. They let employees set their own goals without getting VP approval. The completion rate was 94%. The industry standard was 30% completion rate. They made it inevitable that these people would succeed. They took away the system made it easy to succeed. So here's your mindset reset. Is your environment a co-founder or your competitor? Make it your co-founder and recruit it. Yes, actions do, Kenneth. They do. I love it, Annie. Celebrating the author friends. And Jay says, failure is common, but we can learn from. I don't even use that word anymore. Failure is not in my vocabulary. I win or I learn. I can't fail because it doesn't exist. It's a construct. Right? I love the Ben Franklin quote. I'm sure you've heard that one. Everyone's heard that.
Which one? Is it the one that you only fail if you give up? Or is it another one?
No. Somebody came to him, a journalist, and said, how does it feel to have failed 1,000 times at making a light bulb? He says, my kind sir, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways that didn't work.
And you know what? I feel like that mindset is so important, especially for those that are in the entrepreneurship space. It's like sometimes we allow, like you mentioned, our gaslighting ways to make us think because we've tried over and over again, because we're not seeing the success we want right then and there, that's a sign that we failed and we should jump ship. But rather than jump ship, it might just mean you need to pivot, right?
Exactly. Try it differently, right? Adapt.
Now
You
I'm
know.
Oh, so go ahead. My apologies. There's a delay. I didn't mean to
No,
talk.
no, go ahead.
No, I was looking at the slide and I'm looking at the first bullet point and it says systems beat motivation. And when I read that, to me, it's kind of like an aid, right? Because having system in place kind of give us motivation because it give us more time. if you think about it, right? And that's the thing that when I first started my business, Sean, I really lacked on the systems or processes. I love one thing. My boss used to say, if you do something more than once, you should have a system for it. If you feel like you're going to do it again, why not create a system to make life easier for the next time? Even if you don't think you need to continuously have a system for it, if you know that you're going to do it more than once, have some type of system, whether if it's small, large, or just something to ease the weight, the load, the time, and everything else for the next time. And that first bullet point, when it says system beats motivation, I feel like it goes hand in hand. Systems actually brings upon a new motivation to where you feel like I can do this.
Well, and I would say motivation is like launch sequence, right? Motivation can get us moving, but it doesn't last on its own, right? Motivation, like if you've ever been to a conference and you come out of it and you're like, yeah, I'm charged up, I'm ready to go. What happens a week later? Most of the time, we're right back where we were before we went, because we're trying to rely. And systems, when we say systems, I'm not just like business systems, having your content schedule, having your calendar set, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, that's important. But I'm talking even mental systems, I have a system. My alarm goes off at 5 o'clock. I jump out of bed. I turn on the coffee. I go for my walk. I don't do anything else. I go out. I do my affirmations. I do my walk. I get my jams, get charged up and ready for my day. It's a system. I made the excuses over and over and over. Oh, I just don't have time to read. I don't have time to exercise. Exercise, not that word. That's like oh yeah, like no, I don't like exercise, but I knew it was good for me, so I built a system so that it was automatic. The friction was gone. I didn't second guess myself. So we can build not just systems in our business, systems in our workplace, but we can build mental systems so that we can clean up our desk. That's a big one. That's why I did the image, right? A cluttered environment means a cluttered mind. And with a cluttered mind, it's hard to stay motivated. So we design our environment in every way to make discipline inevitable. That's the system.
I love that. And I feel like, did you take a look at my desk today, Sean? No, but that makes a lot of sense, especially not to get off topic, but believe it or not, for those that are parents in the chat, just give me like a thumbs up or something if you can agree. There is something about your space being tidied up that makes a difference in productivity. I don't know, it's a mental thing. I know for me, if like the house is like if my daughter's room is crazy, I'm thinking about more so like, oh my goodness, I just cleaned this house yesterday. I got to do it again. Or what I need, everything in my mind is what I need to do or what I need to clean, the clothes I need to fold. And that's taking up so much space to where I'm so exhausted at the end of the day. I don't want to be productive with my business. And then things start to get missed, or I start dropping the ball or things, or I'm not being as proactive or productive as I want to be. And then next thing I know, I'm stressed because I'm doing a lot of things last minute because, like you said, I didn't mentally have a system mentally to set myself up for success.
Right. And communicating, the environment is not just our desk or our office or our home. It's the people that we interact with on a daily basis. I used to say, I love reading. I read. I love reading. I used to say, I don't have time to read. I work full time. I've got a wife. I've got a small child. I don't have any time for reading. Today, I read every day for about 45 minutes every day because I made a system and I've made an agreement with my wife. Like from this time to this time, this is my reading time. I would like to have the space for that. Talk to my son. I'm recording my podcast. It's, this is my reading time. This is daddy's thinking time. He understands that. So, the system, the environment is every corner of your life, every person. We have to find the ways to block. Like we can use time blocks, like from 9 to 10, I'm going to work on this thing. Please, nobody bother me. After that hour's finished, you have my full attention. But for this 30 minutes, that hour, I need private, uninterrupted time. This is part of those 2-second fixes, right? A bad habit, the excuse we've used, make it friction free. Find a way to make it that you can activate it in 2 seconds or less. So I put a QR code on the screen. That's a poll. I would love to hear your votes or see your votes on your number one friction point. So you can scan that on your phone and the app is right there on your phone. It's not an app, it's a browser link. So you can scan that and submit your answers and we'll see it live. But this is the secret. Take the bad habit, find the micro win, tweak it a little bit, and remove the friction. Organize the desk a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like Annie says, messy organized. You know where it's at. Your wife might come in and go, how do you find anything? I can't find anything. You got to find it. Let that be your win.
Shawn, I just scanned the QR code, and this is a good poll, actually. I actually have two in mind, so I don't know which one to choose from. I think because of that, I probably should put decision fatigue. I think I answered my own question here. Everyone, let me know in the comments if you scan the QR code, if you voted. If you voted, just comment voted in the comments so we can know. But I just cast my vote, Shawn.
Thank you, Amalia. And they're rolling in. I know there's a little bit of delay from Restream out to LinkedIn, so I know there's that factor.
And then while we're doing the vote, I just want to kind of read some of these comments. So I do say, for me, it's refusing to fall into the trap of self-condemnation. Oh, God, I can't even read today, Shawn.
Yes. Trap of self-condemnation. And it is a trap.
Oh, my goodness.
It is a trap.
Self-condemnation.
And it's easy to fall in. Yeah, it's easy to fall in that one. Thank you, Melanie.
The tongue twisters, right?
The tongue twisters.
Thank you, Melanie, for voting. And then I did want to highlight Annie's post because this is true too for some of us, like how we think. So he put, my desk is messy organized with the things I need in their place. I get that a lot because you know how someone else can walk into your space and they'd be like, well, how do you find anything in here? But you walk into your space and you know exactly where everything needs to be. And then you get frustrated when someone touches or try to move or clean up. I used to be that way growing up, Shawn, when my mother used to try to come in and move things around my room. I'm like, Mom, now I don't know where things are. Before I actually knew where things
exactly.
were. All right. Well, thank you everyone for voting. Feel free, if you voted, make sure you comment voted so we know Again, scan the QR code on screen to cast your vote. All right.
While those votes are coming, I'm turning on my external camera just to show that I'm just like everybody else. I'm messy organized as any shared. Just 1 second while we're doing votes.
I didn't know where you're going to turn your camera. I was trying to find up. There we go. Let me make it large for you so they can see.
So there's my messy organized. I know where things are. Drives my wife nuts, but I know exactly where things are most of the time.
All right. So are you going to pull up the vote, Shawn, or how is this going to go?
Yeah, we're going to switch that over. Let me.
Because I do want to give you enough time to finish.
Let's see. I'm just waiting for that to load.
And then while that's loading, everyone, I do want to kind of let you guys know, for the audio leaders in the audience, Shawn has agreed to do monthly accountability sessions within the Audio Leadership Club. So if you know that you are struggling with some of those excuses or the things that our brain tell us that doesn't allow us to be as productive as we want to be, he is actually going to meet with us monthly to make sure we kick out of those, bad habits and knock those excuses out the way.
Right. And it's twofold. It's not just me being there helping you with the mind shifts. There's power in community. When we share our goals and our tasks that we're trying to get accomplished with others, it builds an automatic accountability, right? If you've ever tried to go to the gym on your own, it's easy to quit. But if you've got a friend that's holding you to the fire, unless you got one of those friends who quits just as easy as you are, I've had those. Like, I don't feel like going to do the gym. Okay, I don't either. Okay, bye. Talk to you next week. But having people that will call us up and say, hey, how's it going? But in Amalia, I saw this earlier today in our weekly kickoff. The community Amalia has built here, it's about support. We're here to support each other and help each other and reach our goals and get those things done that we need to get done, right? All right.
And I second that. And I am very good at saying, hey, so how's that going? I heard, last month, where we at with it? You need assistance? You need help? How can we get this goal rolling? So don't
right.
hate me. I'm just trying to keep you accountable.
That was round 3. Yes. Final round. This hits deep. Picture yourself. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, 2034. You're laying in bed, wide awake, staring at the ceiling. What regret is keeping you awake? I'd love to see those in the chat. But think of it this way. Whatever that version of you would beg you, what would they beg you to fix? That's what we want to attack tonight. for you to, what's that regret that would scream? Like if your future self could yell back and say, Shawn, do this, or stop doing that. What's that thing? I'd love to see those in the chat. And while that's coming in, I will go to, so anybody heard of Microsoft? Yeah, no? Amalia, you heard of Microsoft?
Yes, I have.
So Microsoft was struggling. They were doing well, but they were struggling. When Satya Nadella took over Microsoft, he took them from 300 billion to 2.5 trillion dollars in revenue by killing one thing. He killed the know-it-all culture. He made every leader in the organization ask, does this decision align with a learn-it-all identity? If not, it's gone. So what's the task that you could delete? The ones that aren't aligned with you. They aren't aligned with your dream. Maybe there's somebody else's dream. The looming deadline. Legacy is not built someday. It's built every morning when we wake up. Right? Someday is not on the calendar. I dare you to go look. Go look at any calendar and show me where someday is. I will give you a nice prize, but I promise you, you won't. There is no someday. I build my legacy moment by moment every day. And so do you. So that's what we're looking at, is build the legacy that won't keep you awake 10 years from now at 3 a.m. What's the thing, the email you skip, I heard it earlier, the newsletter you unsubscribe from because it's just distraction. The task that you can get somebody else to do, right? Somebody to clean your house, somebody to cut your grass, somebody to handle your social media. What's the win? What's that tiny micro win that you can celebrate today to start building your legacy one block at a time? It's not a big thing. It's just build it one. My son just got his first set of Legos. Legos are tiny, but you put enough of them together, you can get some pretty cool stuff. Our legacy is the same way. Build it one brick at a time. At first, it doesn't look like much, but eventually it'll look like something you'll be proud of. All right, moving on. All right, it's time to rewrite our identity. Let's cement this in. Comment, I am the type of person who. Maybe it could be, I'm the type of person who takes messy action and sharpens through feedback. I'm the type of person who doesn't negotiate with fear. What's your higher identity? I am the type of person who keeps promises to myself. I like the other one there. I am the type of person who values myself. One of my affirmations in the morning, I am an amazing, caring, supportive husband and father. Am I a perfect husband? No. Am I a perfect father? Screw that up too. But I'm living into this identity step by step. So I'd love to see your new identities. Yes, Amalia.
My apologies. I was going to say, what is your sentence? I was sitting here thinking about it, and I think for myself, is I am the type of person who's not afraid to try something new or take risk.
I love it.
What is yours? Or are yours
The
the
one of
ones
the
on
ones
the
that
screen?
they are, some of the ones are yeah, the one that the person who finishes what I start. I am the person who serves out of love and care, not out of what I can get. Right? I'm doing this because I care about other people. Yeah, I need to make an income. I need to make a living. Got to keep the lights on. I love Annie's type of person who always delivers. I'm the type of person who wants to over deliver for my clients.
Oh, those both really well. I like both of those. Let's see. We have a few other ones.
I am the type of person that values appreciation of science fiction and superhero comics. Good. Love to hear some more. I'm glad to hear that. David. I don't want to mangle his name too bad.
Everyone, this is why we use the LinkedIn. I'm not going to even go there. Everyone laughed because the most underutilized feature on LinkedIn is probably the best thing you can do for all your connections for these events. You'd be surprised how many times I go to people's profile just so I can hear how to say their name, praying they have the little voice box next to their name.
And
I don't
that's a
know
good
if anyone else
reminder.
do that.
I've never put one. I know about that thing and I know the value of it, but I think Shawn Michael it's not too difficult
Hey,
for
you
most
never know.
people.
Well, I always say seize the opportunity, right? Earlier, we were talking about amplifying your voice. That gives you a chance for people to hear your voice and say your name and give a mini message.
Yes. So what we're doing here, thinking about the task that will delete because it fails the 3 a.m. test, or the thing we will add so that we can be proud of ourselves in the future when we wake up at 3 a.m. Or maybe we won't wake up at 3 a.m. But we're building an identity worth defending. This is how we unlock that legacy. It's all about changing our identity. When we say I am too busy, we're actually making it true. We're stating a fact. But when you change it, I am working on organizing my time, changes it. All right, here's the real magic. Make your excuses, tap out. Let's get that knockout. Tag someone or connect with someone and make them your accountability partner. Hold each other accountable. Make yourself your promise, then share it with that person and ask them to call you out. Tag me with roast me plus your friction point. I'll come back and respond to you. And commit to 1 2-second win this week. Tomorrow, what's your 2-second win? Because the world isn't run by the talented, it's run by those who show up. I like the way David put that, self-re-engineering. It's one of the books I read was called Transforming Yourself, and the front cover shows like the statue of David chiseling himself out. It's not comfortable, but that's what it is, changing ourselves. Right, Amalia? It hurts sometimes. Accountability can feel uncomfortable. I remember the first time I had an accountability partner, I said, hey, don't pull any punches. Be honest with me. Be real. Call me out. And he did. And I went, oh, okay, I wasn't ready for that. I felt like I got sucker punched, to be honest.
I feel like
But-
those are the best accountability partners, honestly.
Well, and I see that as a true coach, a true friend. We don't have to ask them to call us out. All right. It's my final slide. I hope this resonated with you. It shifted you in some way. That was my goal. That discipline is easier at the end of these 3 rounds than it was when we started. That's the end of our match. As Amalia said, if you're part of Audio Leadership Club, come on May 1st to Aligned Action. Come join the community. Share what you're working on. Be held accountable. Work in community. Feel free to DM me. I'd love to have a chat, talk to you more about where can we remove some more of your friction, where can we celebrate some more wins, and tag me. Share a win on LinkedIn sometime this week. That tiny win. I opened my computer. I typed the first line. I came up with a title for my book. Whatever it is, share it, tag me. I'd love to hear it. Thank you, Amalia. That's my whole show.
I love it. Well, you know what? Today was a lot of good information. And I love the way you kind of made us think about a way of kind of shifting our mindset. And of course, I love the boxing analogies. But for those that may have kind of tuned in towards the end, would you do just a quick recap of the 3 rounds? And then just one big takeaway that you want them to take away from the event. And then everyone, let us know in the comments. I love that last slide. You said pick an accountability partner. Let us know. Do you have accountability partner in mind? Do you need for us to, if you want to comment, I can write it down and we can follow up next month. And I will actually take the time to say, hey,
Likewise.
yeah, same thing. We want to make sure we help you be accountable. And of course, we have these extra things for you where you can really deep dive. But as a thank you for attending, we want to kind of shift you out of those habits. Anything that for a fact you want to change. Shawn is here, myself. Just let us know how we can support and hold you accountable. Shawn, I'm tagging you. You're my accountability partner. So I will be
You
there
got
May
it, Amalia.
1st.
Amalia, will you pop up? Because I know you have the QR code for this.
Absolutely.
That's the one, for the accountability playbook. This summarizes and gives you a worksheet to help you go back through the 3 laws, whether you were here from the beginning or you jumped in later. Basically, there's 3 laws here on accountability. The first is the law of ownership, right? Take control of your brain. Stop letting it gaslight you. Make success or rewire your reward system. Turn dopamine not into your social media addiction, but into your discipline addiction. The second law, the law of frictionless action. Take away the friction, set up your environment, get that 2-second rule, right? Set up your gear the night before. Make it so you can't avoid it. The easier you make it to do the thing you need to do, the more likely you are to do it. And law number 3, the law of legacy-driven discipline. Remember, not who you are you becoming? Who's that ultimate version of yourself that could wake up at 3 a.m. in 2034 and go, why didn't I do that? What's that one thing? What's that thing you could have stopped doing or that thing you should have done now that would have made you wake up proud in 2034? Those three laws followed make discipline simple.
I love it. Well, I also too want to highlight something else, Sean, because I know sometimes we don't like to display it, but Sean also has a community. So if you really resonate with just really trying to have some accountability, and honestly, the real mastery could be more than just accountability. I'm going to hand the mic off to you, Sean, if you want to let them know more about your real community.
So, real mastery, you'll notice it's an acronym. As I shared earlier, I struggled big time with imposter syndrome. And I know it's something that everybody from teenagers all the way up to the most successful CEOs have bouts with the imposter monster. So I developed a program called Real Mastery about reframing your identity, shifting from, like Annie shared earlier, you can't create a successful advertising agency. Then we embody our strengths. We all have strengths, right, Amalia? We have things we're good at. Amalia's the audio queen. There's a reason. She's good at it. She's embodying it. So we learn to embody our strengths and anchor into, what did we say earlier? Those wins and the core competencies. My favorite, the A, is align with purpose. When we are aligned with our values and our purpose, burnout doesn't even come up. I saw it over the last several weeks. My wife came back from her vacation of 3 weeks of not working and has been hitting it 9 hours a day. And yes, she's exhausted, but energetically, she is on fire because she's like, I've got a goal, I've got a purpose. Boom, I'm doing this. And she loves her students. So when we align with purpose, burnout becomes a non-issue. And community. L is for leverage support. Find the mentors, the community members, the people who will lift you up, press you on, inspire you to be better. So that's what real mastery is about. And inside the real mastery, we're almost finished with the book Nonviolent Communication. We also have the Transformational Book Club. We meet every week, read a chapter from the book, and then have a discussion. And the goal is that we don't just read books for information, we read books for transformation. Back to you, Amalia.
All right. Well, I love it. And congratulations to you for starting your community. I know personally, as someone who has a community, how scary that process can be. And and like you mentioned, how you can talk yourself out of it. So I just want to say congratulations on your new community. And again, everyone, be sure to reach out to Shawn if you have any further questions regarding today's event. I do see we have some chats coming in. I can highlight those. I'm just going over. I do see here we have, all right, I love it. Self reinvention is ultimate personal development game changer. I agree. All
Yes,
right.
because when we align with that new identity, we will continue to develop. Otherwise, it's like everything else. We find an excuse to stop.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know what, Shawn? I just want to thank you again for joining us. And again, everyone, make sure I'm going to put back the download. As everyone know, I love the bonuses. So this is your free bonus. So make sure you go ahead and download it. It's Unbreakable Accountability Playbook. So you want to make sure you download it and start holding yourself accountable. And Shawn, I want to thank you so much for being that person that can help us stay accountable. And if it's okay, I know this week is really big. I really want to kind of talk about amplifying the voices. And I feel like you play a very important role in that because it's keeping us accountable to make sure we're doing what we need to do to continue showing up and adding value, because we don't even realize how much that matters. You could have a very good idea, a very good strategy, a very good anything, but if you don't hold yourself accountable to stay consistent, someone else is going to take that same, because like I said, everything, like you said, you don't have to be an expert in mastery. It's like the people that show up are the ones that's doing great. How many times people heard someone, man, I could do that way times better. You see something like, oh my goodness, I can do that. But it's because you're not actually doing it. That's the difference, right? So everything you said just resonated with everything I've been thinking about this week and everything that's been aligning this week. So I appreciate you.
Well, and I've heard it this way too, Amalia. There are people with a lot less talent and a lot less education that are much more successful than you or I. And the difference is they showed up. They did the action. They took that risk. They took that step and said, I'm going to do this. If it works, I'll celebrate. If it doesn't work, I'll pivot.
I love it. And I see a little challenge for you too, Sean. It seems like you need to get on one of Annie's events.
Yeah. Well, I think I joined some of Annie's events, but like my schedule. Okay, wait. Retract. I've let my schedule and the timing prevent me from joining. So
I was
I will redouble my efforts on that. Trying
I
to.
was about to say I was about to get my boxing gloves ready, Sean, because I was feeling that excuse coming up, and I was like, wait a minute, I can be your accountability partner and knock that excuse out of you.
Yeah, we all, we all do it. I'm just like everybody else. I got my good days and I got my bad days, but using the tools is what's helped me keep moving, and having a supportive community around, to say, hey, Shawn, like, what the heck?
I love it. All right. Well, you know what? I love the fact that you chose to screen share and do a PowerPoint. And everyone, again, just to recap, make sure you follow up with Sean, download. If you missed the QR code, this is a replay, but I kind of want to kind of talk about, because I know you talk about accountability, and I did promise Bobby I was going to do a better job at this. But today was a prime example of how to use audio events in another format. Usually you see what we're doing right now, and we're just kind of having conversation, but you can also leverage audio only events to showcase presentations. So thank you so much, Sean, for giving us the PowerPoint presentation. So that way, not only we can listen in, but we can actually follow along with imagery. So these are different things that you can actually do with your audio events to just add more value, especially if you're first starting out and you're nervous about being live. These are things that you can do. So another accountability piece I want to throw in there for those of you that I always call it my future audio leaders that has spoken to me that mentioned that you really want to try audio events. I put the homework on for you. Pick a style if you want to do conversational, if you are doing it by yourself and you want to do a PowerPoint to talk about these. These are things to help you get comfortable, get that mental system together, and make sure you are showing up for yourself, right, John?
Definitely. Because if you don't show up for yourself, I'm sorry, nobody else will.
I agree. All right. Well, real quick, Sean, if it's okay with you, I do want to just announce my Saturday, because I want to make sure people know about it, and then I can circle back and make sure they have the time to scan your QR codes.
It's your house, Amalia.
Well, I always like to ask because I never want to look. And this is why I feel like Bobby's on me, because I have a really hard time with self promotion. I'm like the huge cheerleader. But the cool thing is, this is something of value. We worked hard for it. I'm going to put it out there. So Bobby and I are collaborating for a 2.5 hour workshop, live workshop, not pre-recorded. You can get your questions answered live. It's on how to use audio events to turn your listeners into clients And when I say we really took the time to really deep dive into all things social audio, we call our audio conversion system. We're going to go into not just Zoom, Restream, but we're also going to go into Twitter Spaces. We're going to go into Go Brunch. We're going to go into any particular type of platform that you're interested in and kind of expanding social audio, and make sure you fully understand it. Make sure you know how to set it up. Make sure you know the key tools and things like that to leverage it actually. And then we're also going to make sure you know how to properly host events, everything you need. Like if you are considering doing a podcast and you are not tech savvy, we're going to show you how you can really just download these live audio events and keep the authenticity, like just make it authentic for your audience to where they expect it in the podcast, to where it's simple uploads. So this is something that I'm going to just say, make sure you register if you're interested. But like Shawn said, excuses. If you know audio events is something you're interested in, this is like a one in a lifetime opportunity for Bobby, the Thought Leadership Branding Club, and the Audio Leadership Club to come together and to get this value packed opportunity. So make sure you register, and we will love to see you there. All right, Shawn, I'm bringing it back to you. I want to just go through. I'm sorry, I can't even talk. It's been a long day. I have 4 events today, everyone. 4 events. So I'm going to go ahead and put your LinkedIn profile. So if you are not connected with Shawn, make sure you scan the QR code and connect with him. He is a very valuable person to have within your network. And also, he's just a great guy. I'm not saying that because he's in my community. Shawn, you are amazing. I've enjoyed having you a part of just my LinkedIn connection before Audio Leadership Club existed. So, everyone, I highly recommend just reaching out, working with Shawn if you really need that particular help on his expertise. And then, of course, if you have not downloaded the Unbreakable Accountability Playbook, definitely scan the QR code. You don't want to miss out. This is a really good. If you are attending, if you're an audio leader and you're attending the May 1st accountability call, this is within our resources. So this will also be there too. So if you don't scan this, you have opportunity to get this on the 1st. And then of course too, community is key. Having multiple communities is okay. I'm part of multiple communities. I have my own. I'm part of the Audio Leadership Club. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, the Thought Leadership Branding Club. Bobby and I have been collaborating way too much. Oh my goodness. So the TLB Club, as well as my own. So Shawn, I am looking forward to diving into real mastery too. So I will scan the QR code and I'll be happy to join you as well.
I would love to have you, Amalia, because I was thinking as you were sharing that, between my complexion and the fact that it's audio event, you can't see that I'm blushing. Because that's one thing I'm learning, to just, I've been learning for many years to just not blush at that, to accept compliments and be okay with them. And, because we all have greatness in us. It's okay to acknowledge that. And it's okay to be acknowledged.
I love it. Well, Shawn, would you like to give any closing remarks before we end today's event?
As I said, the goal of bringing this to Monday Night Coaching was to help people kick their excuses to the curb. So if you had one insight, one shift, then goal achieved. As I said, tag me. I'd love to hear how this landed for you. What was the biggest aha moment from the teaching tonight? Which round did you like best? The law of ownership, the law of friction, or the law of legacy? These are powerful. A lot of startup founders I gathered this together. This is all battle tested, and I'm honored to be here.
I love it. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We have a few more great events coming up for the next few Mondays. You'll see those being advertised soon. If you are an audio leader, tomorrow we have a masterclass with Orly. So make sure you tune in to that as well. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you do not have your elevator pitch or you do not know how to tell people what you do to where like, oh, okay, that's good. I want to work with you. You definitely want to tune in. Orly's going to get your elevator pitch in order during that masterclass. Same thing, May 1st. Make sure you keep in touch with us. Stay tuned because Shawn will be keeping us accountable. All right, everyone. If you are interested in joining the audio leadership club, I need to go to bed, Shawn. I am exhausted. I can't even talk.
It's been a full day for you, for sure.
Oh my goodness. If you are interested in joining the Audio Leadership Club, be sure to join our wait list. It is the audioleadershipclub.com, or reach out to an audio leader. They can get you in and skip the waiting list based on referral. So if you want to join, you may want to reach out to Shawn or any.
Yeah.
Any's an audio leader too. So even though you can say any, go on the link and shoot me that link over there.
Yeah, we know the backdoor bouncers. And on the topic of Orly's masterclass tomorrow, I wanted to hype her up. I interviewed her for my podcast. Actually, the episode published two weeks ago. And if you're unclear about your elevator pitch and your online marketing presence, definitely get there for that masterclass. Orly she knows what she's talking about.
Awesome. And then keep in mind, everyone, our master classes are free to the public live, but replays are only offered to our community. So if you're free, make sure you tune in because it is available to you live. We do have an Audio Leadership Club calendar where you can keep in touch with all of our events. We did launch that last week, Shawn. So I'm excited about that. So where we have 48 audio leaders, and now we have a calendar to where all 48 leaders can submit their events, so you can just stay tuned with so much value-packed events. So if you're a leader, audio leader, and you missed that announcement and you want to know how to add your events to the calendar, make sure you reach out to me. All right, everyone. Well, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Shawn, thank you so much. I cannot wait till the 1st of May. And I'm going to download the playbook as we speak because I really need to keep myself accountability on a few things. And I'm going to lay out my workout clothes to make sure I'm going to actually put my gym shoes where I can trip on them a little bit.
Don't get hurt though, okay?
If you see me with a brace, you know it's your fault. Just kidding. All right, everyone. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm just silly. All right, everyone. Enjoy yourself. Have a great rest of your evening. Shawn, thank you again. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.